guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little different, which is going to be a DIY project on the van. Pretty soon Samantha and I are going to be on the road full time, and we're going to be traveling to some places that are going to have very bad lighting at night. Today we're going to be installing this light bar from Nightlight. We got this on Amazon. I think it was $67. And this is going to install right on the front of the van where the license plate holder is now. This is what the light is going to install on top of, and then the license plate is going to be moved to right here. So wish us luck. We're new to DIY. I don't know what I'm doing really. I'm going to be following a YouTube video, instructional video, and hopefully this all goes according to plan. So with that, let's get started. Alright, so we're about to get started. These are the tools that you need. Flathead screwdriver, coat hanger to pass the wires through. You're going to tape the wires to this. You want some sockets, a drill. This is a 3/4 inch drill bit that you're going to use to drill a hole for the switch for the light. Zip ties, so you can zip tie all the wires. And some electrical tape, so you can tape the wires to the coat hanger as you pull it through. And then you have this bracket here. Then we have this is going to protect the wire. You're going to wrap this stuff around the wires so that they don't get cut. It's pretty much all you need, so let's get started. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to locate the plug in the firewall. You're going to pop that out with a flathead screwdriver so that you can pass the wires through the firewall. Alright, so now we pulled the plug out and we're going to be putting this coat hanger in the hole and fishing it through the firewall. Samantha's going to go on the other side and pull the coat hanger through. Alright, so now that we have the coat hanger pulled through the firewall, next thing we're going to do is remove this panel right here. And this is going to be 2 screws. There's one right here, and then there's a screw up here. And then this is a 10mm bolt. So you're going to need socket to remove this panel. So let's go ahead and do that now. Insulation. Okay, so now this is all the wiring that came with the kit. This is going to be your relay. You're also going to have your switch, which you're going to have to drill a hole in the van wherever you want to place the switch. This is 3/4, so you're going to want a 3/4 inch drill bit to be able to install the switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these wires just a few at a time. We're going to tape them to the coat hanger and then pull the coat hanger back through so we can pull the wires through the firewall and put them where we need them to go. Alright, so now we're going to tape a few of these wires to the coat hanger, and then once we get these through, we'll tape a few more. Alright, so now that's taped on there. I'm going to go around to the other side and pull the wires through. Hopefully it works out the way it's supposed to work out. Alright, so now we're pulling the wires through. Maybe. Oh, there we go. And we taped the very tips here because these were getting caught the first time. So you want to tape this part right here so that they don't get caught when you're pulling it through the hole. So then that's just going to go there. Now we're just going to remove the tape and do the same process over again. Okay, so now we pulled all the cords through. So we're just zip tying everything down right now. It needs to go down through here.
Put the coat hanger through the bumper so that the coat hanger and the cord both come out down here. We're going to tape them together and then pull the cord out through here.
Ta-da! It's magic! The next step is going to be hooking everything up to the battery, we got to run the 2 cables in there. We got to route those, and then after that, we're going to be drilling a hole for the switch. So let's go do that now. This is the one that hooks up to the battery, your positive and negative terminals here. We're going to run this piece through this hole and into the battery compartment. The battery in this van is located under here. And then we're going to run the other cord here up to wherever we want the switch, which I think we're going to put it right here. So let's do that now. Right. This gives me a ton of anxiety. There's a lot going on here that a normal Ram ProMaster van is not going to have, because this is a camper van that's professionally built out. There's a lot of wiring stuff going on here. So basically, when we ran the wires underneath here, just underneath this plastic piece and into the battery area here, and then we connected the positive to this positive right here, and then this black to the negative terminal here. When you are doing this, you want to make sure you take out the fuse that's in here. You just open this and there's the fuse, and you'll just pop that out. And then you hook up the wires and then put the fuse, just press the fuse back in, and then just close it back up. That way you're not going to short circuit anything. That was the scariest part of this whole thing for me personally, was dealing with all of this wiring. Really like stresses me out messing with any of this electrical stuff, but it does appear that we got this right. As you can see, when we hit the switch now, the light comes on, so we do have power going to the switch. The light bar is not wired up yet, but that is a good sign. So now we're going to remove this panel so that we can run the wires for the switch. I think we're going to put the switch right here. That looks like the perfect spot, and it's going to fit really well, I'm pretty sure. But you need to make sure that you pick a spot that's easy for you to reach. So it was just 2 screws. That was really easy. Like running this up through the hole. All right, so when we were doing this install, we just needed to go ahead and get everything in place. So now I'm going to go back and explain exactly how we installed the switch here for the lights. And this van, this is a 2023 Ram ProMaster, and it had this perfect little spot right here that's perfect for this button. As you can see, it just sits right in there. Boop. And so how we did this is, I can show you underneath here. It's easiest to open these with a quarter. You can also use a flathead screwdriver, but to get to some of these back ones, it's easier to use a quarter because you can't really get a screwdriver in there. But this panel just comes off. And then the battery and all that are located underneath here. And you have your positive and negative terminals, negative and positive here. We connected our wires, one to the positive, one over here to the negative. We took the wires, these are the wires right here. Took this panel off. We ran the wires through here, behind here. The ones that are going to the light bar and floodlights are going through the firewall of the van. And then the wire for the switch is run up here. It's going to go behind this panel right here. We drilled a 3/4 inch hole for the switch. And then we used an X-Acto knife to kind of bore out the hole a little more so that the switch would fit. And now it's a perfect fit in there. It's really tight and snug. In fact, I was going to take it out to show you guys, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get it back in. Okay, and how we thread the wires through here is we detach them. there's like a little clip on the back, and you can detach the wire and then thread it through, down through here, and then reattach it. And that makes it really easy.
And the last step is to head back outside, back around to the front, and we are going to remove the license plate, and we attach the bracket and then the light bar. It is the last step, but it's also one of the biggest steps. So here we go.
Okay, so now we're going to attach this bracket here. First you got to put these long bolts in, and it's going to go right here, and then there's nuts that are already in here, and you're going to take one of these shorter ones and just screw it in like that. But you want to make sure that you keep it loose so that you can still slide the bracket around. So like that's in, but it's pretty loose, so you can still slide it. And do the same on the other side. Alright, so now we're ready to mount this light bar. You got to make sure that the bolts are to the front. So this is what the bracket should look like. So it should just go right in here. Like that. Yeah. Just like that. Okay, so the last thing we did is connected these wires here. We still need to heat them to melt the plastic so they seal. But as you can see, I'll go turn the lights on. It is now working. So pretty sweet. That was not the easiest thing I've ever done, but we got it done. Now I need to heat these with a lighter. Okay, so this is day 2 of this project. Yesterday we got to the very end. We couldn't figure out how to keep the wire in there. So we spoke to my dad, who is an electrical person. And he said we needed to peel a little bit of the protective coating back from these wires and then crimp it so that the wire would stay in. And now it's functioning perfectly as it should. Okay, so to crimp these wires, you can actually get a crimping tool, but my dad said that we didn't need to go out and buy one of those for such a small project. He said I could just use pliers, and that seemed to have worked fine. So we stripped a little bit of the wire back and then just used these pliers to crimp this here and here to hold the wires in place. And yeah, it seems to work perfectly. That was the key to making this work, because before, whenever we touched these wires, they were loose and it would just light was coming on and off anytime we jiggled the wires. So this project is officially done. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below this video. And if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and share. There will be a part 2 to this video when we install the other 2 lights. Hopefully that'll be next week. We're just waiting on the brackets to arrive, and then we're going to install the other 2 lights. That should be pretty easy. Since we already ran all the electrical, all we have to do is connect the lights and crimp the wires like we did with this, and it should work perfectly. So overall, it was something that I was very nervous about doing because I don't have a lot of experience with things like this, and I tend to get a little frustrated when it comes to doing things like this. But you know, I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of Samantha, and we completed the job, and this is going to provide a ton of light when we go to our next adventure, in a place where it's probably going to be very dark at night and lots of rough roads. So we're very excited about this, and now the only thing we need to do is test it at night and see how it looks. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. This is the regular lights. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Oh my god! That is insane!